Question from Mike Dennison to Senator Tester. A question from Mike Dennison to Senator Tester.
Senator Tester, we've heard a lot tonight about what people are against. I want to talk about what each of you are for. I'm talking about the fiscal cliff. We have deep spending cuts and tax increases at the end of the year coming up. What is your approach? Why is your approach better for the economy, and why is your approach better than your opponent's approach?
I don't know what my opponent's approach is, but you're going to ask that question to him in a second. The approach has got to be bipartisan. We've got to work together to solve this problem. When we're talking the problem of the debt and the deficit and the fiscal cliff, this comes up the first of the year. There is no doubt that if we don't work together, we are dead in the water. Mike, there have been plenty of proposals out there that make sense for this country, big, broad-based proposals. I've talked about many of them. There were Simpson Bowles and Domenici and Rivlin, and the list goes on and on and on, all sorts of gangs. But the bottom line is those templates can be put together. And it has to have everything in it. Everything has to be addressed. And people need to work together. And I think there's critical mass in the Senate to get it done. And when we talk about the sequestration and the fiscal cliff, that was self-imposed on us in a bipartisan way to get us to work together. It's easily fixed. All we have to do is work together. And it's, like I said in the beginning, it's what Montanans do naturally. In Washington, D.C., we need to learn from Montana.
Thank you. Representative Rehberg, 1 minute.
Well, the first thing we need to do is repeal Obamacare. And that would be the first action. We need to work on a bipartisan solution to the Farm Bill. But what we really need to do, and as I travel around Montana, the number one word I hear more than anything else is certainty. First of all, we need tax certainty. We need to know what our taxes are going to be. I've done everything I possibly can to eliminate the death tax because of my own family situation, where we lived through the death tax and we lost a third of our ranch, our home, our barns and corrals, and Jan and I have had to rebuild from scratch on 100% borrowed money. We need tax certainty, but we don't need regulations continually dropping down. Sequestration, I voted against the super committee because what a crazy idea to have 12 people go behind closed doors and they're going to solve the fiscal crisis of America. I thought the House of Representatives was a super committee. There's 435 of us. It wasn't going to work in the first place. Sequestration is happening because Senator Tester supported sequestration because he supported the super committee, and it's going to create a crisis at the end of this year. The sequestration is solvable. We will be able to do it. But you know what's interesting? Not only did he take $716 billion out of Medicare under sequestration, another 2% is going to be taken out of America. America cannot withstand that kind of a reduction in Medicare. It's going to destroy the system. Sequestration can't happen. Shouldn't have happened in the first place, and I'll do everything I can to undo it.
Thank you. Senator Tester, 30 seconds close.
Well, listen to the Congressman talk. I'm probably responsible for the drought in the Midwest, too. Here's the deal, Congressman. You voted against sequestration. You voted against 2 years' worth of budget and the Budget Control Act. You also voted to default, for this country to default on our debt, which just about every economist in this country said if that would have happened, it would have driven us into a depression immediately. That was a year ago last August. The bottom line is if we don't start working together in Washington, D.C., we're going to continue to have single-digit approval ratings. And I'd be right there voting with everybody else that it's single-digit. But we have a good nucleus of people back there that have worked together on other issues that are critically important. And I think cooler heads will come together and we'll get this problem solved. And it will be solved in a way that works for our country in the short term and the long term.